and that Aguilar was making a mistake. I mean, right in front of her was Daniel's point, and then Aguilar's knees are getting jacked. She kept getting hyperextended, and Daniel was saying all the different things she could do to avoid that. But I was just so impressed with Courtney Casey's up kicks. I was like, she's taking up kicks to the next level. And I'm thinking, like, man, I bet up kicks are just one of those things that if you just practice it, you get really good at it. I bet we haven't really seen the full potential of up kicks. I bet somebody would just be so deadly that you wouldn't even want to get close to them when they're on their back.
Right. Imagine that opponent, the one that just lays down as soon as the bell rings. Just like, oh, shit.
Oh, they just pretend to fall down and fuck you up off their back.
Hey, I still feel like Nate Diaz was setting a trap for Conor in that second fight, those 2 times.
That could very well be.
I totally see him trying to make it look like that was one of their plans. Make it look like Conor got me on the chin, let Conor overreact, and then mousetrap.
Didn't he say that? Didn't he say that?
I never officially heard it. He may have said it in like a post-press conference or something, but it felt like a mousetrap to me, and I don't even know if he would admit that even if he would, because I don't think he'd want to give away his strategies.
Right. Well, I think. Look, he's got such a giant advantage on the ground. Imagine if Nate Diaz became like a killer wrestler. Like Nate Diaz is like, Kevin Randleman back in the day, like shoot these power doubles and getting dudes on the ground. Like Nate Diaz's ground game is very high level, man. Yeah. He's super nasty at mixing up strikes with his submissions too. Like what set up that submission, first of all, is the strikes on the feet. He popped Conor in the jaw, had him rocked, and then got him on the ground and was busting him up on the ground. Yeah. And then Conor gave up his back trying to escape the mount, and he chokes him. I mean,
Nate beat him standing up. That shot Conor took was absolute garbage.
Well, he was really hurt.
Yeah,
he was just trying to hang on. He was just trying to hang on.
Antonio Tarver, was that right? Last week said that too. Like
Tarver?
Yeah,
the guy who was the
boxer.
Yeah, he's the new striking coach for American Top Team.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Or the Black Zillions. I'm sorry, the Black Zillions. Sorry. Yeah, he's the new striking coach for the Black Zillions. Man, that's such an offensive thing that I just said. You don't even know. The Black Zillions and the American Top Team have a giant. They have a giant rivalry with each other to the point where they had an Ultimate Fighter where the 2 teams faced off against each other for a whole season. So my apologies to American Top Team. Black Zillions got either way. Tarver's a bad motherfucker. Remember when he knocked out Roy Jones?
Yeah.
Dude.
Amazing.
Dude.
But anyway, he said that it should be Nate Diaz going up against Floyd Mayweather because Nate Diaz beat Conor McGregor, and I'm totally on that same wavelength where it's like, yeah, what are we talking about here? Like, I just want to see more of the Diaz brothers overall in anything. I guess that's my thing, is that...
Well, I agree that it definitely would still sell a shit ton of money. It's a shit ton of pay-per-views, rather. Make a shit ton of money. I mean, I just don't think that Nate Diaz has the international appeal that Conor has.
Right.
Nate Diaz in America is a goddamn hero. And I don't think the UFC is totally aware of what a big star he is.
I don't think so either. I think he could be just 3, 4, 5 fights away from being what McGregor is to Ireland for Mexico.
He's American, bro.
I know, but trust me, we're all American. But my point is like, they need that. I think UFC really still needs a huge Mexican superstar. I think that they've had them, and I don't mean from Mexico. I mean like just Mexico, to help people get into it, and it's a big part of it.
Well, that's one of the
champion.
One of the things that people are excited about with Yair Rodriguez, but they just bit off way more than he could chew last night against Frankie Edgar. Frankie just mauled him.
Yeah, like
literally mauled him. I think
the best defense is a good offense, and he just kept going at it.
Well, as a person who's a kicker, like you realize when you're kicking, you're standing on one leg. I mean, you're vulnerable. You're just more vulnerable to being taken down by a guy who's an elite MMA wrestler. When I say MMA wrestler, I mean a guy who's used to catching kicks, understands where the kicks are coming, where they're coming from, knows when it's happening, there's no hesitation, dives on it, and takes you down. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, I'm good. I'm good on everything. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I feel like I've been watching Frankie Edgar forever.
You have been. I mean, he beat BJ Penn for the title. Shit. I don't know when it was, but I want to say it was like 2008 or 9 maybe. That was a long time ago, man. He's still in the heat at 145. I mean, he proved with that fight that he is in the heat.
He looked great afterwards. He walked up near us, and it was just didn't even look like he fought that day. Very amazing.
Yeah, it just goes to show you how good Aldo really is. Mm-hmm. You know, because Aldo's already beaten him twice.
Yeah.
The thing is, man, I want to see Aldo versus McGregor, but it's a hard sell. When someone knocks you out in 13 seconds, it's super hard to say, I got to get a second shot at him.
I think it goes both ways. I think it makes it hard to get another shot at him, and I think it makes it easy to get another shot at him because we know that's a goddamn anomaly. I know we would all feel silly if, say, they did it again and he knocked him out in 8 seconds and we're like, are you fucking kidding?
Let me tell you something, he could. Conor could.
If he does that, then we melt down that belt, we melt down the gold into a crown, and you put it on Conor's head and you say, you're done. Go enjoy your crown. You're done. You're now on Game of Thrones. You're no longer a fighter.
Isn't that amazing?
He's
if
Lannister.
he requested a crown.
Yeah.
I don't fight for belts anymore. I fight for crowns.
I melted my belt into the crown.
That's a terrible accent.
I don't do accents. That's what The Undertaker once did. He once melted down the WWF belt into a championship, like a necklace.
Did he really?
No, actually that wasn't him. That was the Godfather. That was like a pimp. He was like a pimp wrestler. He won the WWE belt and he had the gold melted down into a pimp's necklace.
Oh my god.
Basically, just fuck your belt.
That's hilarious.
It's my necklace now.
I love the storylines like that.
Oh yeah.
Wrestling is so campy. It's so silly. The thing about wrestling is, though, man, when you joke around about it, people get super upset.
They sort of do.
Oh, they get upset, man.
People also obviously get sort of very happy, too, I think it goes both ways. It takes a real moron to get upset about it.
There's a lot of real morons out there, though.
Well, hey, you had me upset that one time because you kept saying that it was not real, and we know it's not real. That part's not surprising to us, but you kept saying that, Game of Thrones was real and stuff.
You're watching a play. You go to see musicals. They might as well be singing.
Sometimes they sing on wrestling, too. You know Daniel Cormier is a big wrestling fan.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he is. He's a silly fella.
Yeah. But there's definitely a lot of that. I mean, we talked about this years ago on a podcast where I said, I think more elements of pro wrestling in the UFC would do him justice because it just makes for entertainment. And since then, this Irishman has become a big deal. The Diaz brothers are these tough characters. We're starting to just find out more about the characters, and that's sort of what I meant. Nothing fake or anything, but just the entertainment part is a big side of the UFC, and it's a big side of boxing, and it's a big side of all of sports. And I think the UFC is really embracing that, and also having a little bit of trouble embracing it, but also embracing it.
Well, I think they definitely embrace it, but you also have to respect the hierarchy of championship. Mm-hmm. When the Amanda Nunes Ronda Rousey thing, when they were doing that big promo and they were only featuring Ronda Rousey. I don't know whose decision that was. I'm not going to criticize them. They did their best. They created a very interesting, compelling little piece that got me fired up about the fight. Mm-hmm. I got fired up about the fight when I saw that. So they did a good job on it. But I don't think they paid nearly enough attention to the danger that is Amanda Nunes. And I think that if they showed that, it would have made it even more compelling. Because Amanda's a fucking monster. That chick hits hard. She's ferocious. She's nasty on the ground, and she knows how to win. And she's an attacker. And if they just showed the highlights, man, just showed her beating up Miesha Tate, strangling her. They showed her putting it to people, man. The way she did to Sarah Kaufman. Or not Sarah Kaufman, Sarah McMahon. Dude, she's a beast. And so they didn't even really concentrate on it, and she was the champion. And I was like, well, that's silly. I'm all for the showbiz part, but you're missing out on one star here. You're focusing on your current star and missing out on an opportunity to highlight a new star.
And by the way, and that's what I'm saying is that that isn't the showbiz way to do it. The showbiz way to do it is to pump up Nunes.
Yes.
And to show that if Vince McMahon was running it, I know that sounds crazy, but that's what he would do. Since he doesn't know who's going to win, he would pump up Nunes instead of Ronda. We already know Ronda. So when Ronda beats Nunes, it's like Ronda's back.